Hey, what's up, YouTube? Gigantic Wax here, 760 with another video. I will have some content for you guys as well tomorrow. Um, with well, I mean, ongoing content. What I mean by so um, let's get into the video. Let's go back to 1992, where in 1992 I was born. uh, Almost 34 years ago today, 33 and a half years I was, or whatever, yeah. And so basically, my mom was 6 months pregnant with me, and I was the firstborn out of, you know, three others. There was me, then my sister in 94, and then my other brother in 95, and then in 98, my baby brother, may rest in peace, who, yeah, passed away, um, right shortly after, and stuff like that. And so I'm out here going for a walk, but back to the story. Yeah, I was born in Utah. 3 days later, after my mom gave birth, we left Utah and moved, went home, or we moved somewhere. And I was born at 2 in the morning. Explains why I stay up so late. Anyways, so oldest of three others, my sister April, my brother Dakota, and John, or Jonathan, but he liked John more. So I just wanted to give the life story of my life, and I'm 34 now, and just trying to make a name for myself. Yeah, my teeth don't look the greatest, and I'm fixing them. Hopefully this is the year I get them completely fixed and done, and we can move on with life and have great teeth again. I've had my ears pierced. I took them out for like 3 years. Just got them pierced. But going back in 92 up to 98, and everything, we were family. And I had my first sip of beer, Budweiser. It was one sip. My dad said, yeah, go for it, bucko. And I said, cool, Dad. And we all had disabilities. And yeah, I have a low IQ of 68. To this day, many don't know it. And it's just how life is, you know. I didn't ask to have a 68 IQ. And I was born with bad legs, bowed legs. It doesn't seem like it. I walk all the time. That's scoliosis. And you'd be like, Billy, you walk all the time. Well, yeah, I do, but not for the fun of it. I do enjoy walking. It's one thing in life. It does hurt my back. And stuff like that. Anyways, out here, walking before my daughter gets home. My stepdaughter, by the way, I have a stepdaughter of what's her age? Stepdaughter is currently 11, and then 15, and then I have other kids that I take care of, anywhere from the age of 12 to 22. And so with that said, what advice do I have to give for you young kids and stuff like that? Well, just enjoy life. You're a kid, and you get to watch cartoons. And now you get to watch cartoons when you're adults too. So don't lose hope. You'll get to do that. Yeah, that was a hell of a climb. Anyways, living in Washington now as an adult, Oregon, Washington, and I'm now like I said, 34, and I'm married. And do I wish I could go back to the ripe age of 22. That's where we're gonna jump to at some point in the video. But I want to talk to you about going back to 1998 and what happened. Well, my brother was around. My baby brother was 6 months, and some will say, "Oh, well, that can be impossible." Well, it wasn't impossible. Just one random day, it had been fall. And let me go back. My very first sip of beer in '98, Budweiser. My dad would watch WWF. This was during the great era and stuff. And so he offered me. He said, "Yeah, I can have a sip." Of course, he maybe had been a little tipsy himself. And he said, "There you go, son. There you first." And I liked it. Admittedly, I thought it was bitter. But to this day, I'll drink beer and enjoy some cold ones. And yeah. Anyways, shortly after, I remember my being 5, and memory served me right. My dad got taken away, and anyways, to prison. And the way I understand it, when we went to foster care, was my dad got 18 years life, and they were drug addicts. My mom and my dad. My biological dad, has been in and out of jail most of his life. And I look like my dad somewhat. That's what my dad would look like. Not more or less than I look like mom. But anyways, going forward. So we went to foster care from 98, 99, 2000, 2001. So we jumped around in foster care and stuff like that. And yeah. That was just hard times. As you can imagine. So from 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, I was in foster care. 2001, a fall. 2001, or summer of 2001. It was like fall, spring. We decided that it was time to move to a permanent home. David B. Lester and Pamela G. Morris, Lester at the time, decided to go ahead and adopt us 4. And we all agreed that we had a couple visits with them. So it was awesome. Everybody asks me how I became a Vikings fan. Happened in 2001. I became a Vikings fan. And yeah, they haven't won the Super Bowl. That's how my love for Minnesota sports came, because my dad, David, was a Vikings fan. Before that, I was kind of like all over the place before 2001, and I liked the Packers or the Bears. I like the Packers because green's my favorite color. My sister's favorite color is pink. My brother Dakota is red, and my brother's favorite color is blue. If I remember right, John's. And anyways, so that was happy times. Foster care was hard because back in the 90s, at the end of the 90s, before they changed foster care, the foster care parents wanted to adopt us. But I remember I had the foster dad's name, it was Mike. And that was discouraging. He also divorced his wife after a time married to her and stuff like that. Anywho, we got out of foster care in needless to say, that was probably the best situation at the end of the day that what happened. Moving forward, after we got adopted, bam, 2001 happened, or 9/11 happened, and I was 9 or 10. People want to criticize me and say I was still 9, but I think people forget that I was in 5th grade or 4th grade when it happened. And then we lived in Iowa for a while, and lived on a farm home. Well, school got done, and that was nice about the Midwest. School was done by the middle of May, but it started up like the first week of August. That was the unfortunate part, or the second week of August. That was the unfortunate part. School. Then we moved to Colorado, Fort Collins, and we lived there for a year. I remember it vaguely because I went to school in Colorado, Fort Collins. Great school. This was 04, 05. And then after that school year was over, we moved to Washington for grandparents that were very sick in need of assistance and stuff like that. And so from 06 or 05, so 2025 would have made it like 21 years I've lived in Washington. And, but I just wanted to say, in those times of living in an adopted family, what we gotta do, go to the Y, and stuff like making friends, and stuff like that. School was a place that I guess I enjoyed the most, and I don't know how I enjoyed it the most. Felt like when I got older, I couldn't wait to get out of school. I did enjoy high school and stuff like that. I graduated in 2013, and I've been 10, 12 years I've been graduated, and school is about to get out. We see we're March. We got April, May, and school's basically out in June. So, and I always loved summertime as a kid, because when I had summer vacation, those 3 months felt like forever. And of course, like any other parents, my parents that raised me disliked the summer vacation sometimes. Yeah, and sometimes we went to summer camp and Boys and Girls Club and stuff like that. But when we moved to Washington, and I got to meet my Uncle Justin Morris, and Kathy Morris, and which was my aunt, and I have cousins, and by marriage I have cousins. I have family. Don't get me wrong, and so we moved to Washington when I was like 12, and I turned 13 when we came here. And then I went to Larson Elementary for 1 year, or for a half of school year. And then I went to Chief Mo for a year and a half, part of 7th grade. And then my mom schooled me because she got the assumption I was getting bullied. Well, she wasn't wrong, and etc. Anywho, why not? Going a little bit further, John grew up being last family. I'll talk about John a little bit. He did develop some seizures as time went on, and that was somewhat a difficult time because I started caring for my brother more and his seizures, and just I cared about family more. This happened when he was due to poor ligaments in his legs, and that's why he had seizures. And then we got a nice house. We bought a house, and we stopped renting. And on 127 Chillon Drive. And in another video, I will go by it whenever I can get a chance to show you guys where I grew up. So I lived there. Graduated from Warden High School, 2013. It would have been 2010 if everything was right and up to date. And but I graduated with my sister. She was 18. She graduated with her class like she was supposed to. And then my brother and all that will go ahead and graduate him in 2014 because he was like he was supposed to. And then my brother John graduated like he was supposed to. He was kind of behind. And so we all graduated. But in this house, it was I got my own room. And, for a while, and then they needed office space, so they gave me a room, and we shared a room, and the rest is history. Well, my sister got her own room because of reasons. We were growing up. We would get a pool every summer, and have a good Danny in the pool over the summer. We went to the aquatic center, time to time, and we went to churches, and I grew up learning about God and Jesus and stuff like that. And I'm not saying it's not what we need to do. If you find that church isn't for you, but God is, stick to it. I'm trying in my life with God and trying to get better and be a better person. So I'm thankful every day I get to live, and I hope I got more time. I need to do better myself as a grown-ass adult. Pardon my language. I'm going to try, when I do videos, I'm going to try not to use profanity and cursing and whatnot. We all like video games. My sister, was mentally challenged as well. She played video games. I don't know if she does now, but I do. I play. That's why I love video games, because of the hard life. It's an escape, and it helps with my mental health and my anger issues. And yeah, I might get frustrated with the video game. Anyways, I'm gonna have to cut this off. I will remember talking about growing up in the house and going back to 2010s and talking about what happened in the 2010s and stuff like that. And maybe go more back in depth of how life was versus how life is, and talk about adulthood in the next video. If you guys can, please, let's get this ball rolling. Share, follow, subscribe, and yeah. So this is part 1. The next part will be part 2, and it might be multiple parts because it's 34 years of life that I would like to share with you guys. One last thing, more content is coming. All right, peace out, guys.